When I first got my Steam Deck, I carried this stock Steam Deck charger with me basically everywhere I went, and it made me realize how much I don't like the stock charger. Now, I'm not saying it's a bad charger, I think it's totally fine. Considering the Steam Deck is kind of a budget-oriented device, especially the $400 version, the fact that it has a charger at all in the box is actually kind of impressive. I mean, just look at like Apple or Samsung or a bunch of other manufacturers who will ship you a $1,000 plus phone with no charger in the box. That's the industry norm these days, so kudos to Valve for actually sending one. That being said, this stock charger leaves a lot to be desired. I have a few main gripes with the stock charger. Number one, its size, it's pretty big. Number two, the pins don't flip down and fold so that it'd be easier to travel with. And number three, it doesn't have a removable cable. So if you want a different cable or this one frays or breaks or gets chewed on by your cat, because yeah, that happened to me, you can't replace the cable. You just trashed a 45-watt charger that's still perfectly good. It just doesn't have a cable that works. And although the stock Steam Deck charger is 6 feet, I found myself wanting a longer charger than 6 feet a lot of the time. Or if you're like me, you have other things that need to charge that don't use USB Type-C. Most specifically, my iPhone doesn't use it, or my watch doesn't use it, or I have a few other things that I need other cables than USB Type-C, so the Steam Deck charger just can't do everything. So I looked around everywhere for the best chargers that would work with my Steam Deck really well, and then work well also with my other tech, and I did way too much research, and eventually I came upon Ugreen's Nexode Chargers. So I reached out to them, and they sent me a couple charger overs to test out, and I absolutely loved them. They have two chargers specifically that I think work the best with the Steam Deck, and one is their 45-watt charger and the other one is their 30-watt charger. And let's just get the pricing out of the way real quick. On Amazon, the 30-watt charger is on sale for $17 and the 45-watt charger is on sale for $32, I believe. I'll leave a link in the description with the updated prices. So why do I think these Nexode chargers are better than the stock Steam Deck charger? Well, a few reasons. Number one, it has two Type-C ports on the front, which means not only can you charge two different things at the same time, you can also switch out cables to whatever cables you want. That means if you're like me and I bought a 20-foot USB Type-C cable so I can charge my Steam Deck when I'm in the middle of my couch or in my bed or something, you can plug it up to this. With the stock charger, you can't switch out the cable. So that's probably the biggest reason for me. But the other reasons are this 45-watt charger is smaller than the stock Steam Deck charger, and because it has two Type-C ports on the front, I can also charge my iPhone or my portable battery bank or whatever other things I want at the same time as the Steam Deck. And having these foldable pins for when you want to travel is just so nice, and that way you don't end up bending or breaking these pins when they're in your bag. It just feels so much safer and it's more compact. Their 30-watt version is basically the same as the 45-watt version, but it only has one USB Type-C port, and obviously it only charges at 30 watts, but it is quite a bit smaller, so if you're needing to be the most portable, then this 30-watt charger is perfect. And if you go on Amazon right now and check out 45-watt chargers, you're going to see a bunch of different options. But the reason I think the Nexode chargers are a step above most of the other chargers out there is because while other chargers might say they're 45 watt, what they actually mean is that they can pump out like 20 watts on one port and 20 watts on the other, but they max out at 20 or 25 watts. The Nexode chargers can pump out 45 watts to either port if they're only charging one thing, or if they're charging two things, they can do a combined total of 45 watts. But what that means is you can actually charge 45 watts, and that's the maximum amount that the Steam Deck will take. That makes a big difference when you're trying to fast charge stuff. And you also might be asking yourself why you would ever want a 30-watt charger for the Steam Deck other than just portability because it's smaller. And this is a very niche use case scenario, but it's just one that I personally happen to use. And when I've done my testing on my Steam Deck, I've only ever gotten the total system power up to 26 watts maximum, meaning although the charger charges 45 watts, the Steam Deck itself only uses up to 26, or maybe I got it as high as 27, but it doesn't use the whole 45 watts, and that's because it uses the rest of that about 15 watts overhead to charge the battery. But if you're someone like me, sometimes I don't want the Steam Deck to charge the battery because that causes excess heat and it causes the fans to run a lot louder and just have more heat in the system overall. So sometimes I like to use the 30-watt charger so that way It's still trickle charging. It'll never actually drain the Steam Deck, but it's not pushing a bunch of extra wattage into the battery, which then generates more heat. Very niche, I know, but I'm someone who likes that sometimes if I'm in a hot room or I know the Steam Deck is going to be hot or I want to do more accurate thermal testing. Then I like the 30-watt charger. But also, if you're just using it for a phone or something like that, then the 30-watt charger is probably gonna be more than enough. And again, it is more compact than the 45-watt. So what I've ultimately settled on is I use the Steam Deck's stock charger when I'm docked at my desk. That way it's sitting there and the size and bulk doesn't really matter, and I don't need a longer cable. But when I'm traveling or on the go, I take this one in my bag, and then I can use whatever cables I want. I can charge my Steam Deck, I can charge my iPhone, I can charge my watch, I can charge my Kindle, I can charge whatever I need to charge because the cables are replaceable and you have 2 different USB Type-C ports. So that's what works best for me, is having this one on the go. If you want to check out either of these chargers, I'm going to leave them linked in the description. But I'm curious to hear your guys' thoughts on the Steam Deck stock charger. Does it work perfectly fine for you, or are you someone like me where you want this cable, you want it so bad to be user replaceable so that you can swap it out with a different cable, with a longer cable, with a braided cable, with whatever you need it to be? Let me know in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.